We are now 9 weeks from the midterms, the final stretch of the campaign season that will determine control of Congress.
This morning, we're focusing on one state that could prove decisive, as it often does. Pennsylvania, a battleground with close races for both governor and Senate. Both President Biden and his predecessor, former President Trump, have visited the Keystone State in recent days, each one making the case that the other represents a grave threat to democracy.
It's clear which way the new MAGA Republicans are. They're extreme. And democracy is really at stake. You can't be a democracy when you support violence, when you don't like the outcome of election.
There's only one party that's waging war on American democracy by censoring free speech, criminalizing dissent. You see that happening. Disarming law-abiding citizens, issuing lawless mandates and unconstitutional orders, imprisoning political protesters. That's what they're doing. Rigging elections, weaponizing the Justice Department and the FBI like never, ever before.
NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hillyard has been following these campaigns in Pennsylvania. He joins us now. Hi, Vaughn. Good morning. So Pennsylvania has been called the center of the political universe in this election cycle. So I'm sure before. Remind us why this state is so important to both parties, not only for the midterms, but if we look ahead also to 2024.
Right. Yeah. Good morning, you guys. Yeah, there's a reason that Joe Biden used Independence Hall here in Philadelphia as the backdrop of his speech, his address, primetime address on Thursday night on the threats to the democracy. And it's why Donald Trump followed up just 48 hours later with a rally here over the weekend in Pennsylvania, in which you heard him deliver, what would be a harrowing speech. I think it's important, though, to note, of course, the election was not rigged. Those, quote, political prisoners who he references are the more than 800 defendants who the DOJ has prosecuted for entering the U.S. Capitol as well as assaulting police officers. But this is why over the next 63 days, Pennsylvania is going to be front and center, because not only is there a major governor's race up here, but also a U.S. Senate seat. And of course, you got to look towards 2024. And Donald Trump realizes that his path to ultimately regaining the White House could very well run through Pennsylvania. Joe Biden just narrowly won it 2 years ago here.
And Vaughn, of note, unlike many states, the governor of Pennsylvania has the authority to appoint the Secretary of State. That's the person who's going to oversee the 2024 election. Republicans chose Doug Mastriano, a prominent denier of the 2020 election results, as their nominee for governor. He's up against Democrat Josh Shapiro, who's the AG. What should we be watching for in this race?
Right. This is, I think we could contend, the most clear-cut governor's race in the country. You've got Josh Shapiro, the attorney general here, who has been running television ads focused on not only upholding, the democratic values, upholding the legitimacy of elections, but also upholding women's reproductive rights. And on the other side, you've got Doug Mastriano, who was an individual who was outside of the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, has suggested that voters in Pennsylvania should potentially have to re-register to vote. He has not revealed who he'd select to be the Secretary of State here, but he is somebody who has consistently said that Donald Trump actually won the state of Pennsylvania, despite no evidence of that being the actual case. That is where you see here. And when you look at polling, it is still a close race. But again, voters have a very clear-cut decision. And I think as you look towards 2024, this could be a big indicator about where the American electorate is in terms of what basis of facts they believe when it comes to the legitimacy of the 2020 election.
And Vaughn, quickly, let's talk about the Senate. Democrats feel that Pennsylvania is one of their best shots to flip a seat. It's the one currently held by Republican Pat Toomey, but he's retiring at the end of the term. How's that race shaping up?
Yeah, this is huge because Democrats were looking at a likelihood of losing not only U.S. House seats, but also potentially Senate seats. But that's where sort of the construct over these last couple of weeks in the change of the political dynamics, giving Democrats a better shot here in November, really hits home in Pennsylvania, because Republican Pat Toomey is retiring, but Democrat John Fetterman sees this as an opportunity for Democrats to pick up a U.S. Senate seat. Despite suffering a stroke and being on the mend here, you saw him last night alongside the likes of President Biden in Pittsburgh here, making the case for Democrats to to retake this U.S. Senate seat. Mehmet Oz, on the other hand, will actually be appearing alongside Pat Toomey just a few hours from now. We will be at a press conference with the two of those as Oz attempts to make the case that this Senate seat should stick in Republican hands.
All right, Vaughn Hillyard out there in the downpour for us. Thank you, Vaughn. We appreciate you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.